All right, I'm here today filming episode 4 of Meeting Up with Mentors, and I have the pleasure of talking with Tom Coard. And I'm going to let him introduce himself because he has quite a list of things that he's currently doing.
Hey guys, my name's Tom Coard. I'm currently a manager. I manage multiple offices with Berkshire Hathaway HomeSale Realty, both here in Bel Air, Timonium, and also in our Baltimore Metro location. And we have some satellite offices as well that myself and partner and I, Gus Morris, we kind of co-manage multiple locations. So been doing real estate now since 2001 and have been involved with management since 2009 and with Berkshire Hathaway HomeSale since 2022.
So I'm interested to know, how did you end up managing so many offices? What kind of has gotten you to this point?
Well, I think I take a step back to 2007, 2008 when the real estate market was a little bit in crisis. And, those were actually some of my better years just because I expanded my business and worked in multiple locations in multiple areas. But I too had 3 young kids and had to come to the realization whether I wanted to be a divorced realtor or married person involved in real estate. So that's what kind of led me down the management path. And once again, taking my experiences in the multiple areas that I worked, gave me the ability to kind of work from multiple locations.
So when you think about the success that it takes to kind of get you into management and the path you've taken, who would you attribute maybe as one big mentor in the process, and what kind of support did they give you?
I think from a mentor, looking back to when I first got in real estate, was my manager, Don Lane. He was somebody who I really respected. Getting into the business, 26 years old, was somebody that I was able to kind of emulate through my sales career. And then now looking back from a management, I take a lot of things that Don did for helping and supporting agents that I've been able to use in the business. Cindy Ariosa, former regional manager with Long and Foster, she was very instrumental as well as Gus Morris, who is my kind of partner in crime here at Berkshire Hathaway HomeSale. We've kind of worked together for now 21 years, starting together as just agents, sharing an assistant, being on a team together, and then managing at our previous brokerage for a number of years together. Was fortunate to have him come over with me in 2022 and really help build this together. And having that kind of partner can really be beneficial because you have good days and bad days, and we kind of keep each other moving in the right direction.
You've definitely mentored a lot of people yourself in the real estate business through not only being a manager, but I'm sure personally. So when you think about the qualities, when you meet an individual and you kind of get to know the person, if you had to give us some qualities that you think a person has that makes them successful in real estate, what would they be?
I think one of the biggest qualities is, being more of a relationship type person, not transactional, being salaried compared to kind of hourly, or being kind of a commission-based, person, having an understanding that it takes time to build something. It's not something where it's going to be a get-rich-quick overnight. I tend to be more not pessimistic, but, optimistic, but taking the longer approach. A lot of our newer agents that come in to get started, I tell them it's a 2 to 3 year process. I feel that they probably can go to other brokerages and probably hear something that they want to hear, saying that they're going to be successful the first year. But the reality of it is it can be challenging, getting started in this business. We've had great success with attracting some seasoned, experienced agents that might need a little bit of help in regard to growing their business. But we do spend some time with our newer agents too. We've got a great training program at Berkshire Hathaway HomeSale that really helps our agents not necessarily learn the business, but actually practice in the business as they're learning. And I really think being an active, engaged learner, doing what you're saying you're going to do, can be very valuable. So taking those kind of action steps. And by far, probably the biggest trait is being someone that's very outgoing and active. We say this is a contact sport, contact business. You can't wait for the phone to ring. You need to be out there looking for those opportunities, building those relationships. So someone that has that ability, I think can really be successful in real estate.
So when you think about young Tom back in college, did you have any desire to go into real estate? I mean, a lot of those qualities you describe remind me of you. Did you have the desire then to go into real estate, or did you have other plans?
Did not. I mean, in college, I bounced around different majors from speech pathology to sports management to business to marketing. Graduated with a public relations advertising degree from Towson University. And worked in the sports business, worked for the Orioles for a number of years, wanted to work in the sports industry. But with starting a family and moving around the country, the opportunities were around the country and not really wanting to leave the Baltimore area. I ended up just getting a marketing job out of college, working in a cubicle, 9 to 5, and that's just not my personality. So my wife and I were actually looking for our first house, and I thought, well, it'd be nice just to take the real estate class to get education. And halfway through the class, I said, well, you know what, this is something maybe I'll do one day when I retire. And then end up getting my license, getting started. Actually didn't sell a house my first year. Got married, broke my leg playing softball with a new wife and trying to be, involved and engaged, with her. I didn't put in the time needed to be successful. So it really wasn't until that second year where I had some opportunities, and they just kind of fed upon themselves to kind of, give me the opportunity there in 2002 to actually quit my marketing job kind of cold turkey and go right into real estate full time. And even then it was touch and go, just because of the way the business is. It's not something that you get right away. You have to plant those seeds and wait for them to kind of come up. And I always tell this story that we were pregnant with our first child, Maddie. I've got a story about her in a second, but she was born March 2003, and we actually probably January and February maybe had one sale. And I was at the point where I was starting to think about maybe working with a new homes builder or something like that. And it was a kind of just that opportunity where things just start to come together. Maddie was born in March. I ended up doing $1 million in sales March, $2 million in April, and then the business kind of took off from there. But when I got started doing more business, Maddie was born. I was kind of the stay-at-home dad, taking her around with me on appointments and in the offices and stuff like that. But now we fast forward 21 years later, and this June she'll be celebrating her third year in real estate. She got her license in 2018 out of college. Not that I was pushing her to do it. She took the classes online during the COVID years and wanted to get her license and get started in the business. But she's currently a junior at Towson in the business program and still does real estate as well. So, we're very, very proud of her. So, it really wasn't something that I started in college and said I wanted to do. It was something that kind of happened. And I think in life and in real estate, you can't really have a direct course. Life kind of takes you in different directions. And real estate really has provided me and my family the opportunity to go in different directions. We're from the Towson area, but we now live up in Harford County, all because of real estate bringing us to the county and, moving where we move different places. A lot of those moves were because of real estate transactions. So it's amazing how once you get involved and get started with something, where it takes you in your life.
Do you see a general age bracket happening right now in terms of new agents coming in? Is there a standard, age that you're seeing more of in terms of new people getting their license, or is it across the board?
It's across the board. I would have to say we are seeing the folks that are getting their license tend to be on the, I would say in their 20s, more so. Over the years, being in management for the last 15 years or so, it's probably gotten younger, I would think, the folks that are getting in the business. It's tougher, it's all age bracket, I think, related, because, if you're younger getting started, most of your sphere of influence is going to be your friends, your family, your network. So if your network is at an age that they're not necessarily buying homes, it can be a little bit challenging getting started. The ideal kind of time frame is probably that 25 to 35 year bracket where people are buying their first home, maybe buying their second home, which involves selling their first home. So that kind of is that sweet spot, for if you do. I always say, if when I'm meeting with a new agent, I say, hey, how many other agents do you know? And when they respond back to me and say, I don't know any other agents, that's a great opportunity for that individual to be that go-to agent, in their kind of network and their sphere. If somebody says, oh yeah, my friend's an agent here, and they work downtown, they work all over, it's going to be a little difficult because there's already people in that market that have taken advantage of that opportunity to serve their friends and family and people in their sphere. So I would say right now it's on the younger side. And I think that too is coming just because of the opportunity that real estate provides. It can be a blessing and a curse if you have the flexibility that real estate provides, but you have to use that flexibility to your advantage and not, just wait for the phone to ring. Use it as an opportunity. And as you get older with family and kids, it provides you that kind of flexibility that can be beneficial for you and your family.
That provided a lot of great advice for the question I was going to ask you next, which is how you would basically mentor somebody coming in and advice you would have for youth wanting to get into real estate. So I'm going to take it a little bit of a different direction and then ask you, in the current offices you work in, how do you keep your current agents, through your staff meetings that you have, inspired to keep going even when maybe things are a little slow?
I think right now the market has been challenging here the last couple of years with interest rates increasing, inventory decreasing. You would think that with interest rates increasing that there would be a little bit of a slowdown, and there hasn't been. Here as we sit here in May of 2024, inventory seems like it is picking up a little bit, and hopefully rates will come down in the fall. I think the biggest thing for our agents are just keeping. I use this analogy that, we're kind of at the middle of a pond, in the last couple of years, and it's been tough sledding, and we've had the waders on stuck in the middle of the pond in mud. So you can either turn around and walk out, or just keep walking forward to walk through, the stream or river or whatever it might be. We've made it through really the challenging times, I feel, and really just honing back in on your basics, your friends, your family, your resources, staying in contact with everybody, because there are people that are in a need to move situation, but unfortunately the market isn't allowing them to do that based upon interest rates and prices in certain areas, or even multiple offers. I mean, it's a crazy market right now that I think our agents are getting it from both ends, where from a buyer standpoint there's not a lot of properties to sell, and from a listing standpoint it's a very hectic opportunity when you do have a listing with multiple offers and showings, and everything kind of happens at once. So I think more of our agents, the seasoned agents, are seeing that they're getting to the point that we are getting into a better market here over the next couple of years. So I think we're really heavy on training, education, really sharpening your kind of tools that you have in this marketplace, and just staying motivated. We do fun stuff. I mean, if you're not having fun, why are we in this business? So you have to be having fun doing what you're doing. I've always said real estate to me is not necessarily a career, it's a lifestyle. So real estate can be a 24/7 job, and you better enjoy doing it, or it may not be the right business for you. So we just try to kind of be there and be a resource. Great resources here between management and administrative assistants and staff, marketing, agent services. So that really, in this changing market, really provides the kind of guardrails to help an agent through in this market.
Well, you have definitely been my go-to guy in real estate, and I appreciate the mentorship you provided for me while I was in the business, and you're somebody I have a lot of respect for. So I appreciate your time today, and hopefully this will help to motivate anybody thinking about going into the business to reach out, especially to you in one of your many offices, and thank you for your time.
Thanks, Laura.